She was just a blind woman crossing the street, until a cop shattered her cane and her dignity. But what he didn't know? Her son was someone powerful, and his identity would change everything. In broad daylight on a busy city street, a blind black woman was harassed by the very person sworn to protect her. What began as a routine moment quickly turned into a public humiliation, one caught on camera, and one that would send shockwaves across the country. But the real twist? The officer had no idea who she really was, or who her son turned out to be. It was a quiet Wednesday afternoon in downtown Atlanta when something unthinkable happened on the corner of Jefferson and 14th. A blind black woman named Gloria Johnson was simply trying to cross the street. With her white cane in hand, she tapped carefully along the sidewalk, moving with the rhythm she had learned over the years. She wasn't in anyone's way. She wasn't doing anything wrong. But apparently, her presence alone was enough to provoke someone who should have been there to protect her. As she waited for the crosswalk signal to change, a patrol car slowed beside her. Inside, a white police officer rolled down his window and barked something she couldn't quite make out. Gloria turned slightly, confused but calm, and asked politely, "Excuse me, are you talking to me?" What happened next left everyone in shock. The officer got out of his vehicle and walked directly up to Gloria. Witnesses say his tone was harsh, accusing her of causing confusion on the sidewalk. One bystander even recorded part of the interaction on their phone. The video shows the officer snatching Gloria's cane from her hand, accusing her of pretending to be blind to get attention. Before she could explain, he slammed the cane to the ground and snapped it in half. Gasps filled the street. People began confronting the officer, but he dismissed their concerns, saying she was probably one of those fakers who do it for sympathy. Gloria, stunned and now helpless without her cane, stood still, blind, vulnerable, humiliated, and surrounded by a growing crowd. What the officer didn't know was who Gloria's son was. In less than 20 minutes, a sleek black SUV pulled up next to the scene. Out stepped a man in a tailored suit, surrounded by 2 aides and a security detail. His name? Senator Malcolm Johnson, Gloria's only son and one of the most respected African-American voices in Congress. The moment he saw his mother standing alone and visibly shaken, he rushed to her side and held her hand. The officer, now trying to explain himself, stepped forward. But the moment he saw who the man was, his expression changed. He stuttered, panicked, and tried to justify his actions. Senator Johnson didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He didn't need to. He simply looked the officer in the eye and asked, "Would you have treated my mother this way if she didn't look like this?" That one question silenced the entire block. Within hours, the video of the incident had gone viral. News outlets nationwide picked up the story. Civil rights organizations demanded answers. The officer in question was placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. But the story didn't end there. Senator Johnson took to the Senate floor the very next day. In a speech viewed by millions online, he didn't just speak for his mother. He spoke for every person who had ever been judged, mistreated, or abused because of how they looked, what they wore, or where they came from. He said, "My mother didn't need anyone's pity. She needed her rights. She needed her dignity. And she needed a system that didn't treat blindness and blackness as a threat." Today, Gloria walks proudly with a new cane, gifted to her by a foundation for the blind. But more importantly, she walks with her head held high, knowing her story opened a much-needed conversation. Because sometimes it takes one moment, one injustice, for the world to finally pay attention. And sometimes the person you decide to humiliate has a son with the power to change everything. Injustices like these often go unseen, unheard and unchallenged, but not this time. One mother's pain became a national wake-up call, and one son's quiet power turned a moment of cruelty into a message of change. Because sometimes the people we underestimate are the ones with the loudest voices in the end.